Merlin and the Oak Tree. So Arthur grew and waxed full fair, beloved by one and all, and he and Kay would make their play in castle, keep and hall. And round the castle grounds they ran, and o'er the valleys green they roamed Sir Ector's lands at will. At the clear stream they drank their fill, and oft by sacred stone or well the two boys might be seen. They played at nights with wooden swords, and oft at tilting too, and in good time they learned to ride their little ponies side by side, imagining in youthful pride the brave deeds in the world so wide that they would as knights would do. But Arthur also loved to roam the Lord's lands all alone. There was enchantment in his play, and often he would stop and stay as sunset at the close of day by tree or standing stone. And in those moments he could sense some old enchantment there, some presence hidden in the wood, a kind of tingling in his blood, a music that changed all his mood, fleeting at once and fair. Sir Ector warned him not to stray far in the forest eaves, for in those days both wolves and bears still had their hunting grounds and lairs. They told the boy to have a care, lest he be taken unawares by wild beasts or by thieves. But one day Arthur slipped away. He felt the woodland call. Taking some apples and some bread, "I'll take a longer walk," he said, and left the castle unafraid, and to the woodland paths he strayed to see what might befall him. He roamed beyond the forest eaves, but always marked his path, for wild woods make a mighty maze. A man might stray there many days, unless he cut in bark ablaze to trace again his wandering ways, and back to home and hearth. So Arthur walked through dappled light along the forest track. The great trees branching overhead made a green arch above his head, as down the pathway he was led, not ever looking back. At length he came unto a glade, a clearing in the wood. A fallen oak branch formed a seat where the young lad might sit and eat, and by his side his bag he set, and rummaged for his food. But just as he took out the bread, he saw some branches stir, and stepping boldly from their shade and out into the sunlit glade, a halting, grey-clad figure strayed, and Arthur froze with fear. It seemed an old man wrapped in rags and leaning on a staff. He spoke to Arthur. "Have no fear. I mean no harm to any here, but beg, if you have bread to spare, that you might give me half." And Arthur looked in pity then at the stranger there. "Sit here," he said, and broke the bread, "for I am glad to share." The old man sat beside him there and blessed the broken bread. They ate a while in silence then. Each felt his strength return again. The boy gazed at his newfound friend, and soon the old man said, "This meal makes us companions now, who share the broken bread. And one good turn deserves return, since you are young with much to learn. My knowledge is the gift in turn I'll share with you instead. I know your name and where you dwell, young Arthur, Ector's ward. I'm more than I may seem to be, and there is many a mystery, and if you will, you'll learn from me by magic deed and word. I know the love of these green trees is set within your heart. You almost hear their ancient speech. It murmurs just beyond your reach. But that is something I can teach by my most ancient art. This glade was once a sacred grove, and druids gathered here. Here, where these ancient oak trees stand, deep-rooted guardians of the land. And by the oak staff in my hand, which serves me as a magic wand, you may yet listen without sound, and without words may hear. Now take this oak leaf in your hand, and lean against the tree. Then feel your own roots delving deep, where hidden springs and waters seep, and let your branching thoughts still keep a place for mystery. So Arthur held the oak leaf close and leant against the tree, and soon he felt a change begin, as though he grew grey bark for skin, A strong new life sprung deep within, a whole new way to be. He shared the long life of the oak, so strong through change and chance, older by far and deeper than the busy little lives of men. He breathed in sunlight, drank in rain, a living link in that great chain of life itself, warmed by the sun, where all advance and all return in one long joyous dance. And then he knew each living oak is not itself alone. Its roots reach out to other trees, a woven web of mysteries, from darkest soil to lightest breeze, embodying the memories of every year it's grown. He also sensed how every tree becomes a comely host. He felt each bird that built its nest, and made each one a welcome guest, snug in its mother's downy breast, and prayed for safety for each guest, that not a one be lost. And now the oak he leant against seemed somehow one with him, and though he heard no words nor speech, he felt the tree's own mind in reach, and knew that it had much to teach, and this is what, in human speech, he felt it sing to him. Be patient, little acorn, and be still. Your strength is only in your Maker's will. The low ground is the only place to be, if you would root and grow and stand like me. The showy leaf will soon be torn away, but lowly roots are strong to stand and stay. Let men and women learn from the old trees, and not be blown away by every breeze. Young Arthur, I foresee a time at length when you will need an oak tree's rooted strength. Then I will stand within you, strong and sure, that you may stand and withstand and endure. Remember us amidst your victories. The Lord of men must be the friend of trees. Then Arthur heard the beggar's voice as through a gauze of green. Though you may learn the lore of trees and partake of their mysteries, your calling is not just with these, but with the world of men. And so the spell began to lift, and Arthur felt the change. He came to as the old man spoke, once more a boy beside an oak. It was as though from dreams he woke, and all seemed rich and strange. Do not forget, the old man said, all that the oak has shown, for now his roots are deep in you, and you are part of his life too. His strength will one day come to you. You will not stand alone. And who are you? Young Arthur asked. Surely no beggar man. Sometimes I've heard Sir Ector say there comes a wise man, clothed in grey, a mighty wizard, many say, a friend of elves and men. Are you my father's wisest friend, who helped him in his need, Merlin, the wizard in his might, who's known to name each star at night, who sees all things with second sight, and comes at times to set things right by mighty word and deed? I am indeed your father's friend, in more ways than you know. I stood betimes at Uther's side, and helped him stem the Saxon tide, and with Sir Ector I did ride, and showed him how things might betide alike for weal or woe. My friendship with the ailing king, and with Sir Ector too, are both a cause that bring me here, though oft I roam both near and far. To both I made a promise fair, I'd keep an eye on you. You'll meet with me from time to time, whenever time is right, and we will have adventures then, in both the realms of elves and men, sometimes when day is full and plain, sometimes in darkest night. With that, great Merlin turned away into the pathless wood, a dappled thing in dappled light. Amidst the trees he vanished quite, invisible to Arthur's sight, and left the lad lost in delight, deep in the dreamy wood. As Arthur made his way back home, he pondered many things, that Merlin was Sir Ector's friend, and might return his help to lend. But what of royal Arthur, and this talk of courts and kings? that's the end of that section. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a bit of a teaser for the rest, and yeah, thanks for dropping by. Cheers.